So yeah, just a short talk today. I'm actually breaking some rules here. I don't know about rules, but you know, talking about Dogen, trying to give a talk on Dogen is, you know, an exercise in futility usually, especially for a nincompoop like me. And Sason has even said, like, don't even try to talk about Dogen. Um, but I am foregoing her advice and I'm going to try to riff a little bit on some Dogen stuff just because I remember some good lines about mistakes. And as you know, we've been talking about mistakes since the dedication for the session was making as many mistakes as possible. So I thought using some Dogen language around mistakes might add another angle that will probably make no sense. But again, let it settle in you as it may. And if you'd like to take a nap, right now would be a great time to do that. Not listen to it, I have to say. But I'll do my best here. Um, let's see what Dogen has to say about mistakes. So I'm reading from his fascicle called Uji. Sason gave a series of talks on Uji a while ago. And Uji is being time or time being. Um, Basically, I mean, his language is just so poetic, and his philosophical mind is so rich. It's very hard to touch with 100-foot pole, even. But basically, Uji talking about being or existence and time as one. So we usually think of time as a linear thing, beginning, middle, end, past, present, future, moving in a direction. Um, Einstein had some things to say about that. And this, Uji and Einstein might have some strange connections in a way. I'm not too familiar with the theory of relativity, but something along these lines. Kind of, at least presenting a new way to view time. So yeah, Dogen is talking in this piece about our existence being nothing other than time, and time being nothing separate from our being right now. But let's not spend too much time thinking about that. So I'll just take a little excerpt here. There is only the thorough studying of all time as all existence. There is nothing else. Because delusions are delusions, half studied Uji is the study of half Uji. Even a mistakenly seen body is existence and time. If you leave it at mistake, embracing the before and after of expressions of mistake, you dwell in Uji, working freely in your own situation. This is Uji. Do not hesitate thinking it is nothing, nor go out of your way to consider it at all. Most people think that time is only transitory. They do not understand that it dwells in its own situation. Their idea can be called time, but it is mistaken. So I'm just going to go line by line, throw some reflections out, and pretend this never happened. There is only the thorough studying of all time as all existence. So I think that's just for our purposes here, just another kind of expression of time and being as one, not separate. All of time as all existence. Everything exists right now. There's an early koan that I think most of you have done. Bring me the peel of an orange you ate yesterday. And, anytime we hear koans talking about yesterday, past, present, it's pretty clear indication that everything exists right now. The entire universe, beginningless and endless time and space are all right here. And that is not a philosophy. That is not um, an assertion. That is a feeling. That is an experience. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here putting myself through this schedule, is to have that experience and cultivate an intimacy with it. So then he says, because delusions are delusions, half studied uji is the study of half uji. Delusions are delusions. He also talks in a different fascicle about delusion within delusion and enlightenment within enlightenment. But I think the point of this whole section is, don't disregard your delusion. Don't throw it out. Don't dismiss it. It's not wrong. It's simply delusion. And delusion is perfectly Buddha. Then he says, even a mistakenly seen body is existence and time. So, this body that we see erroneously, mistakenly, I think that really is a broad term, right? This body, it could be an idea that you see incorrectly. It could be the body of form that we do in the Zendo that maybe you do mistakenly. Maybe it's the body of your relationship or the body of your family, and you mistakenly punish someone when you should have shown them love, or you showed them love when you should have drawn a strict boundary. Uh, as we talked about yesterday, our life, our practice is just one continuous mistake. And so he says here, even a mistakenly seen body. You might even say, especially a mistakenly seen body, is existence and time, is uji. Your mistakes, my mistakes, our mistakes as a sangha are not, again, they're not to be discarded. They're not to be forgotten about and considered uh, fake or, not worth it or something to forget about. Um, I think about, people I know who struggled with addiction, or maybe people who were incarcerated. And the ones who really grew from those experiences don't say things like, I'm just leaving that all behind me. I'm going to forget about all that. No, they see it as a very important step on their path. And those mistakes, all of our mistakes, completely exist here to separate it into past and present. It doesn't matter anymore. It isn't here yet. Future um, doesn't really help us. But to include everything, all of our achievements, all of our wins and losses, mistakes and glory, to include that, embrace it, as he'll say soon, all in this moment, all of it present, everyone's mistakes. Genghis Khan's mistakes are my existence right now. And again, that is not a philosophy, that is an experience. So then he says, and if you leave it at mistake, if you leave it at mistake, not making judgments about it, not having regret, not analyzing why and how, and, just let it be. Leave it at mistake, leave it at loss, and open, open and totally accepting all of it. If you leave it at just that, it is what it is. Embracing the before and after of expressions of mistake. So, God, what is that? The before and after of expressions of mistake. Yeah, so if I mistakenly yell at someone, um, what were the causes? What came before that? Understanding that I have triggers and embracing those triggers, embracing my karma that gives me my triggers. And then the after expression, that person isn't going to want to be my friend. I have amends to make, right? How much better does it feel to really be in touch with the triggers that caused it and the amends that I am responsible for? How much better does that feel? I know we all have this experience. Um, Feels so much better than trying to justify, trying to evade responsibility. Well, I shouldn't have to apologize because they shouldn't have done that in the first place. Um, that's not really embracing. That's putting up walls and really holding fast. To me, embracing is like so open. So, yeah, if you just leave it at a mistake, accept your mistake, accept the causes, accept the effects, then he says you dwell in Uji. You're truly present with time and being as this moment, your life, nothing else. This is it. Um, yeah, so that's kind of the gist of the mistake part. Working freely in your own situation. This is Uji. That's pretty clear. Working freely. How do I work freely? How do I stop being bound and controlled by my karma, my conditions, my patterns, external influences? How do I just work freely? Doesn't that sound great? I don't do it. Not even close. Sometimes little moments here and there, but to truly pursue, make this effort that we're all making to work freely in whatever the situation is. Um, Again, with the mistakes, with the glories, with the wins and the losses. Um, I just want to be free. I want to be all embracing, totally open, down to make mistakes, down to be a leader, a good leader, a bad leader, a good follower, a bad follower. Just being totally free in whatever my situation is. That is Uji. Seeing all of time as just my own situation. You could also say that's Mu for those of us that have worked on Mu. Do not hesitate thinking it is nothing. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. Yeah. So I know that feeling when I've made a mistake and I just kind of like, you know, try to poo poo it, or maybe I do some spiritual bypassing and say, oh, well, it's all Buddha and everything's empty, so it doesn't really matter. So the mistake will pass and I'll just move forward. It doesn't matter. Don't do that. That's wrong. But then he follows it up by saying, also, don't go out of your way to consider it at all, right? So don't say it's nothing and don't say it is a thing. This is very much in line with what we've been talking about the last couple days, right? Walking on that sword's edge, continuous mistake. If you think it's nothing, wrong. If you think it's a thing, wrong. Anytime we dwell in this kind of dual understanding of things, um, it's a mistake. So, yeah, everything we do in a way is a mistake. Thinking it's nothing, mistake. Considering it as a thing at all, mistake. Just be time. Just embrace everything right now. Most people think, this is Dogen again, most people think that time is only transitory. Yeah, like we said, past to present, birth to death, right? That's such a self-centered way of seeing things, right? That's probably why we see time as linear or transitory, because that's, this little body's experience is like I'm tiny, I start to do things, I grow, and then I go away. So it's easy to think that the universe works like that. And it does. In a relative sense, of course it does. And it's important to function wisely within that transitory model. But Dogen is trying to, open us up to time as just this. So, yeah, he says a lot of people think time is just transitory. He doesn't deny it, but there's just more. They do not understand that it dwells in its own situation. That's nice, right? That's kind of a nice way of saying, kind of a cliche thing of, each moment lasts an eternity. I think that's part of Einstein's thing somehow. That E equals MC squared, man, that's such a trip. But yeah, I think that's a really nice thing to say. Each moment uh, dwells in its own situation. Can you dwell in each moment for eternity? Crazy, crazy, crazy. Um, so, yeah, that idea of transitory time can be called time, but it is mistaken. I think Dogen would agree with me that seeing it the other way is also mistaken. So I'm going to stop flailing about here and just thank everybody again. Thank you to my my friends here in the Zendo. The three of us have really been hardcore holding it down. And for those of you holding it down on Zoom, thank you so much. Your presence is so important. And this has been, a really arduous and giving session for me. I hope it has been for you as well. I hope it wasn't easy, isn't easy. And, what a great way to start off Ongo. It's kind of a unique kind of session, right? Usually, right now on Saturday during session, I'm like, all right, just one day, and then it's like easy street, back to regular life, quote unquote. But the fact that we get, one day off and then back to some pretty intense sitting, not quite as much, but some pretty intense sitting every day moving forward for the next, 83 days. Um, it's, I don't know, it's enriching, and I hope it inspires us all to not think of this as the end. When session ends tomorrow at noon, um, it's just beginning. And yeah, I hope this session gives you a little boost of inspiration to keep on going with us and engage and indulge in this continuous mistake together.